Hey, Terry here, or AKA Penn Central 99. This is my video for the community weathering project. So this is for John over at Model Railer. Let's go ahead and get started. For this weathering project, as you can see, I've chosen an Athearn ready to roll covered hopper. This one is in the Penn Central paint scheme. It's a PS 2893 covered hopper. As you can see, here it is in the box. There's really not a whole lot of special things about it. This your basic, typical rib-sided covered hopper. Well, here it is out of the box. Pretty simple. It's almost got more of a white appearance to it than a gray appearance. I haven't really done anything to it other than I have originally, when I first got it, I changed out the couplers from their standard basic McHenry style couplers to the KD number 5s, and I've also gotten rid of Athearn standard wheels. It must be getting too close here. So I took off their standard basic wheels and put on the Intermountain all metal 33-inch wheels, because I think they run better, and I'm going to keep them on here for the duration of this this car. We'll flip it around here. Not much on the other side. Since I use different weathering techniques and different materials, I'm going to start to take the car apart. One of the first things that I do is take the trucks off of the cars because I use weathering powders and Tester's dull coat to apply that material on the trucks, and the wheels I spray paint. So once I get the trucks off, I'm going to wash them, make sure there's no dirt or dust or fingerprints on them, and I'm just going to take your typical 70% isopropyl rubbing alcohol and clean the wheels, because like I say, these have run on the track for quite a while, so I just want to get any dirt and debris off of there before I start spray painting. So what we'll do is we'll just flip this over, and I've got, as you can see, a little bit of a foam pad here that I use to set my cars on, and I'm just going to take the screws out of the trucks, clean up the wheels, and get ready for some weathering. Before I started weathering, particularly trucks and wheels, I've tried to study prototypes to try and see if I could get as close to the real thing as possible. And in taking pictures and taking a look at the real thing, I've kind of narrowed the colors down to two. As you can see here, the one on the left is rusty metal primer. The one on the right, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but this one here is chestnut brown. Okay, like I say, I've narrowed it down to these two colors, taking pictures and looking at the prototypes. So today I'm going to be using the chestnut brown to weather these wheels, and I think it's going to look pretty good. Here you can see a nice up-close shot of the wheels after spray painting. This is two light coats, just barely applying enough paint to get rid of that metal finish and make it look a little bit weathered, and hopefully that'll give a rust looking appearance once we get to the final product. Here's the rest of our parts. I just got done washing these. I just put a little bit of dish soap and some water and a really soft bristled toothbrush, and just kind of wash these things down a little bit, get any dust and dirt off of them, and particularly get rid of any fingerprints that might still be on there, because once you start weathering, whether it's with chalks or acrylic paints or whatever, you know, fingerprints are going to stick out literally like a sore thumb. But you can see here we got the body, the couplers in the trucks, just drying them off, put them in a box here. There's skewers are just broken down to manageable sizes, and you can see there I'm using the holes for the truck mounts to set that hopper car on, because from here on out I'm not going to be touching it with my bare hands, because I don't want to ruin or damage anything and get any more fingerprints on it, especially after washing. But see, with that skewer up off of that piece of foam, I can actually work on it and weather it without touching it. I've started to apply some weathering chalks to this to try and tone it down a little bit. Here you can see I've used just some plain gray. Just some plain gray weathering chalk to try and tone that down because it was almost a white. And you can see on the roof there and on the sides it started to tone that down a little bit and streak it. I wanted to streak it straight down and make it look like when it rained the water was washing the dirt down. And here's a close-up of the trucks. This is 2 layers of weathering chalks. Dull coat, weathering chalk, dull coat, weathering chalk, and then another coat of dull coat. And you can see I've got some browns and some rust in there on the springs, make it look pretty good. So I think we're doing okay. Okay, to get a little bit more depth and detail, I am using my gray weathering powder and a micro brush, and I am putting shadows around the ribs. I did not put a shadow on the inside of this rib here, but you can see where that is shadowed right there. And I think these shadows make those ribs pop out a little bit more. So you can see I did on the left side of the rib. I haven't done on the right side of the rib yet, and I'm just getting ready to do it. And it's just a matter of taking your micro brush and rubbing it in that groove right there and give it that little bit of shadow. Okay, John, I guess this is pretty much it. Wanted to keep this one simple and subtle because like most people say, lighter is better. So here we have just a lightly weathered rib-sided hopper. See, it toned it down quite a bit from the original white. You can see the rain streaks and the shadows on the ribs there. I think this turned out pretty good. And as you say, keep it on the rails. So I got an old piece of 9-inch track out and threw it on the rails. You can see the trucks and the wheels there, I think, turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Couplings, I threw some weathering powder on those too to try and make them look pretty good. Flip it around here and show you what the other side looks like. Okay, and there's the other side of it. Pretty much the same. Like I say, you want to keep it simple. You get too complicated and too much stuff when you're weathering, and it kind of detracts from what you're trying to do. But just to give you a heads up, I'm starting to practice some rust spots on one of my other hoppers. I think that stuff turning out pretty good too. Well, like I say, John, that's pretty much it. I think this one's a wrap. I think this turned out pretty good. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. This one was pretty simple and basic, only using a couple of techniques with a couple of products or materials. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for watching.